What exactly should they privatize? Okay, those plants, what, transmission company?
No.
What? Because some will tell you that the
10 power plant, new power plants.
If they privatize the new power plants, what happens to distribution? I mean, transmission. What happens?
I will come to that. But the point is that those 10 power plants are supposed to be privatized. The effort to do so have gone far before this regime came into. That's one.
And you think it should be completed?
Yeah,
so that
yes, completed and sold.
If we add that to what we already have, but then we can be looking
those are
towards
some of the policies. Yes,
10,000 megawatts.
Those are the policies I expect to be in this year's. But then again, if you look at the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN, all right, it was given out on the management contract to Manitoba, all right, because we expect that they will do a more professional job, but that contract has lapsed.
I'll let you complete your thought on that. I hope you don't lose it, because I just wanted to bring in Markware very quickly on this. Markware.
Well, Sulaiman, I think you already hit the nail on the head, asking our guests to be a bit more specific. And he's talked about privatization. But then if you follow the conversation that happened, in the middle part of this year, when the government was trying to raise funds, privatizing some enterprises and also trying to sell off some assets, you already saw some of the dust that was already being kicked up. How do you think that it's going to fare, especially when you consider some of our experiences with privatization? The power sector that you referred to is one area where a lot of people will say we've not had the most pleasant experience. So how do you see the government faring in that, especially with a lot of Nigerians skeptical to the concept of privatization?
Nigeria has no alternative to privatizing those assets. Sentiments cannot reform and turn around the economy. Now, those power assets that have been privatized, they're doing their best. There have been a lot of problems with those, a whole lot of rot over the years. So it would take, so the problems that those power plants and the owners are having are structural in nature. They're not things you can solve in the short term, 12 months, 18 months. So they take time. They will take time to turn around, and people have to be a bit patient with them. Already, they're making efforts now with mind you, I don't hold any brief for the power sector operators. Now, you can see that with coming for prepaid meters, some effort have been made in that direction. And I believe in the next 12 to 18 months, that problem probably will have been solved. So people should realize that the power sector problems are technical, they are long-term, they are structural. They need time. If you're an investor, if you invest such a huge amount in that kind of stuff, you need time to be able to turn things around and recoup your investment. So, but Nigerians should just get it right. We have no alternative to privatization, and this government should be more forthcoming. Should not be should be less, ambivalent about privatization and really embrace it. Now, that kind of policy stance will send the right signal to investors. Now, TCN, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, before this government came into being, we're already talking about some form of privatization of TCN, but that has been stalled. Now, TCN is a minimum $1 billion investment every year to expand the transmission, network. Now, government cannot do that entirely alone. Government doesn't have that kind of money. So, if you do not privatize TCN, bring privatization, so you will have this incrementalism, all right? Maybe 100 billion here, and that will not make, because again, like we're suggesting, by the time you privatize those 10 power plants, the wheeling capacity of TCN will just not be there, except you privatize it, and so that the investors can generate the required quantum of investment of $1 billion or more every year. You will not go anywhere.
Would privatization help in any way to cut down the cost of governance? Because right now it's humongous. Certainly.
When you privatize, you let go and you stop spending money. For example, now, since we privatized and deregulated the telecom sector, government no longer invests in telecoms, and that's a huge saving. Right now, we prioritize the power generation companies and the discos. Government does not no longer invest directly in power plants.
But in the 2007 budget, there is some monies that are supposed to go towards the power sector.
Yeah, but that's for the transmission sector entirely. It's for transmission. And again, and that money again is a drop in the ocean compared to what is needed. And that is why, for as long as we have this attitude of, holding on to assets that you cannot manage and you can't really add value to, we just keep moving at a snake pace. Another sector that needs to be prioritized is NNPC, is the oil and gas sector. NNPC, of course, it won't be done overnight. We're a 5 to 10 year program, but we are fighting short of it. Just in November, Saudi Aramco, as the Saudi Arabian national oil company, announced a plan to sell 49% of its shares. I mean, you look at Saudi Arabia, you think they're so, of course they are very conservative politically, but they are showing us a way economically. I mean, if Saudi Aramco, the Saudi economy, oil sector is far better, is far bigger, but they also are feeling the pinch of the drop in oil price. And for that reason, they want to privatize, they want to sell off 49% of the shares in 2018. So what are we learning from that?
So for the Ministry of Trade and Investment and a couple of other ministries, what are your expectations for 2017? Are you looking that they have a directory of some of the key sectors that they want the government to hands off in the coming year?
Well, basically the Trade and Investment Ministry is a policy-making arm of government. They don't invest directly. But even then, government has allocated 81 billion naira to that sector, which I think is quite commendable. Now, I think the Trade and Investment Ministry, one thing they of course, one of their key program now is improving the environment for business in Nigeria, and I'm sure they are going to drive the presidential enabling business environment, this commission and all that. But I think that ministry should make a strong case for the Central Bank of Nigeria to let go of those 41 items that are denied direct access to foreign exchange, because that is one of the reasons that is killing the manufacturing sector. That's another policy instrument that I was looking forward to, And then, but going back to the Industry Trade and Investment Ministry, they are making an effort to rejig the Nigerian industrialization revolution, program. I think they should do that as quickly as they can, and of course, the key strategy for that sector is still SMEs. I think a lot has been done by SMIDAN, a lot has been done by BOI, but a lot more needs to be done. All right. I think the first thing is to give SMEs capacity, and of course to increase access to finance. The truth is that the current policy stance of government on foreign exchange has not helped the manufacturing sector. I believe those 41 items should be removed, be scrapped, and let every player have a level playing field and have access to foreign exchange. That's one. And secondly, let the central bank hands off. I mean, when I say hands off, let them allow market forces to have a free interplay in the foreign exchange market. That is the way forward. Now, what are market forces? They're not some sort of nebulous, imaginary, things. They are human beings. They are the individual players, the real human beings who buy and sell, in marketplace, who are very close to the reality of the marketplace, who are very familiar with the market dynamics, with changes, with the opportunities and the threats and all that, and who are able to make sound economic decisions about how to realize their own objectives. So when such interplay happen, you have a realistic price in any sector, be it in foreign exchange, be it in local traded goods like maybe petrol, or even Gary, if you like, staple foods and all that. Okay? So government has, the central bank in this case, as agency of government, has to respect economic principles. Of course, these fellows know better, they know. But I think it's the pressure on them. They just should do the right thing.
You think pressure will definitely make
political pressures there? There's no doubt about that. All right? Let them just
they should be independent.
Do the best they can to just respect the rules of the game, because that is the way forward. For as long as you hold on to the lever, all that, and you don't let go, for that long with foreign investors not come. Mm-hmm. Because when the price of the naira vis-a-vis the dollar is not determined realistically, when somebody somewhere, either some policymakers in central bank or beyond, are determining a figure. Now ask you, what scientific explanation do you have for saying 197 to the dollar or 305 to the dollar? There's none.
I think
so it is when you allow market forces to determine that things will take. Initially, there could be a drop, all right? But I tell you one thing, in the next 6 to 12 months, if the market is free, you will see confidence building in. You see foreign investments coming in, both FDR and
as you did say, I'm afraid we have to go. As you did say,
yes.
The CBN should know better, and that they shouldn't allow pressure from whatever quarter affect their policy.
Yes.
Paul Ighinoba, economist, many thanks for speaking with us on Sunrise Daily. I'm afraid time is really not our friend on a day like this. It's been a wrap on the show. Many thanks for being such nice company. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
I'm Neo Taibe. Thank you for joining us.
Why does it feel like Friday already? Thank you, Maupe Ogun.